we are never so defenseless against suffering as when we love. Unexpressed emotions will never die. They are buried alive and will come forth later in uglier ways. The more perfect a person is on the outside, the more demons they have on the inside. Beauty has no obvious use, nor is there any clear cultural necessity for it, yet civilization could not do without it. When a love relationship is at its height, there is no room left for any interest in the environment. A pair of lovers are sufficient to themselves. A woman should soften, but not weaken a man. Words have a magical power. They can bring either the greatest happiness or deepest despair. The great question that has never been answered, and which I have not yet been able to answer, despite my 30 years of research into the feminine soul, is what does a woman want? Being entirely honest with oneself is a good exercise. The voice of the intellect is a soft one, but it does not rest until it has gained a hearing. One day, in retrospect, the years of struggle will strike you as the most beautiful. The madman is a dreamer awake. Out of your vulnerabilities will come your strength. A man should not strive to eliminate his complexes, but to get into accord with them. They are legitimately what directs high conduct in the world. Just as no one can be forced into belief, so no one can be forced into unbelief. The only person with whom you have to compare yourself is you in the past. The interpretation of dreams is the royal road to a knowledge of the unconscious activities of the mind. The mind is like an iceberg. It floats with 1/7 of its bulk above water. Friendship is an art of keeping distance, while love is an art of intimacy. In the small matters, trust the mind, in the large ones, the heart. Most people do not really want freedom, because freedom involves responsibility, and most people are frightened of responsibility. The first human who hurled an insult instead of a stone was the founder of civilization. Our memory has no guarantees at all, and yet we bow more often than is objectively justified to the compulsion to believe what it says. He who knows how to wait need make no concessions. The dream is the liberation of the spirit from the pressure of external nature, a detachment of the soul from the fetters of matter. In the depths of my heart, I can't help being convinced that my dear fellow men, with a few exceptions, are worthless. Who lacks sex speaks about sex, hungry, talks about food, a person who has no money, about money, and our oligarchs and bankers talk about morality. Men are more moral than they think, and far more immoral than they can imagine. The intention that man should be happy is not in the plan of creation. Love and work are the cornerstones of our humanness. The liberty of the individual is no gift of civilization. It was greatest before there was any civilization. Civilized society is perpetually menaced with disintegration through this primary hostility of men towards one another. The unconscious of one human being can react upon that of another without passing through the conscious. Experience teaches us that the world is not a nursery. If children could, if adults knew.